If you could advise your 20-year-old self on one habit to prevent future health issues, what would it be?
20? You're choosing 20? Holy, yeah. Yeah, probably stopped drinking at the time. I was really into partying and having a good time, and I did have a good time. But my future self, my 20-year-old self, I think what I would have done differently, as I talk about in the book, is, when I know better, I do better. But I probably would have prepared for pregnancy a little bit differently. Not that, my kids are healthy, thank God. But, in terms of potential future conditions they may develop, that's a part of that whole epigenetic component. I kind of wish that I didn't grow up with such junk food, that I family knew better. We didn't know then. And I wish that once I knew, if I wish I'd shifted my knowledge earlier. But I think that I don't live in regret. I just kind of say to other people, when you know better, you do better. And that applies to, I think, everyone. But that's what I would have told my 20-year-old. I would also said to my 20-year-old self, don't care what people think, do your thing. Because as you get older, you just keep moving and not hearing the noise. You have a mission, you have goals, you have things you love. And I think the more we spend time thinking about what others think in general, it does not help us with our own goals and our own lives and our own happiness. So, that's what I would probably have told myself. Not that I ever cared too much about what people think anyway. Yeah.
Very good advice, and it's something that a lot of young people struggle with, and it's something that I've had to kind of retrain my brain to realize as well over time, since maybe like 14 or 15. There's this thing called the spotlight effect, where I don't know if you've heard of it, but where you think everyone's thinking about you and looking at you, but because everyone's thinking that, no one's looking at you or thinking about you.
Tell my kids, I said no one has time. I even tell myself as I'm rolling out this book and running around, you have to keep in perspective, like, everyone's doing their own struggle, everyone's doing their own thing. And so it really does help to believe that, people are busy and they're not focused on critiquing you. They don't, there's a lot to be said for that. And when they don't answer you back for emails or they don't call you back, not taking it personally because they themselves are rushing to get through their stuff too. So it also changes your perception of, how people respond to you in some ways too. But for sure, everyone is focused on, survival, keeping their own missions alive, and it does take some of the burden off. I think, if you're trying to succeed in the world in certain areas.
Definitely, and I don't know. I'm sure you've got this as well, but you kind of create a lot of scenarios in your head, or maybe like your monkey brain is telling you, "Oh, someone's going to say this," and like you end up overthinking stuff. Then you realize once you like release the book or release the podcast, like you get so much positive feedback from it.
You don't know who your village is until they actually show up. I've had this remarkable experience of people showing up that I never would have expected, more so than the people that didn't show up that I wanted to show up. I think it way overpowered, the positive was way much more than the negative. And yeah, I think it actually rekindled my perception of humanity, especially given what we're dealing with in the US with all of the drama. So it actually made me feel that I was part of a village that supported my work and gave me validation after 15 years. Not that I was looking for it, but nice. It is really nice, you know?
You deserve all the validation you're getting for your amazing work.
Uh,
The
Tell that
second,
to my kids because they still.
yeah, the second quick question is, what belief do you hold that others find controversial?
What do I say that again?
What belief do you hold that others find controversial?
Oh, a belief I hold that probably that chemicals cause harm. I mean, I think that for the vast majority of people, they don't get it, and it's not to blame them because I didn't get it. But listen, there are people that just don't want to support this message, and whether they're paid for by big ag or chemical companies, whether they don't like holistic people in general from their own experiences, because people do apply their own experiences to how they treat others. And so, look, I have always felt the science is on my side. And when I have the science and the people I respect in the scientific world on my side, I feel like I'm superwoman. I can do what I need to do and I will fight through as long as I have that supporting me. So, whatever you need, I think embrace it for the support for sure.
Definitely. And I think more people are going to realize what you're saying and how true it is. And like they should really change life. I think hopefully, year after year, decade after decade, people are going to start changing their behavior. And that's already happening now, the more we're finding out. And social media has definitely helped that as well, for sure.
For sure. And yet, and so I'm glad that it's been drawing attention. I just worry about people who are promoting detoxes and cleanses and things that I think are really to make money using fear as the motivator. I don't use anything in terms of products or endorsements. I want people to just use their own physiology and think about anthropology and sweating and, the things that we have in us is the cheapest and easiest way to get started. Right?
Yeah.
That's to me where you get started. You don't need teas and high colonics and wackadoodle stuff. You just really need to just understand how your body is brilliant. And use it.
Just focus on the fundamentals.
Sure.
Last question. You've clearly dedicated a lot of your life to like creating this amazing work. You said you spent 15 years researching, and obviously medicine takes a long time to study and qualify for. It's really admirable. What have you sacrificed to pursue your dreams and this work of yours?
To be honest, I don't think much. Because I always knew that I was doing it for the right reasons and I never had a goal. I had no expectations. So I didn't disappoint myself or skirt things. I had two beautiful kids. I always wanted a family. I have a happy marriage. Well, reasonably happy. We'll fight later. We'll see. Um, but the idea is that, I don't think that I sacrificed so much. Look, I sacrificed time to study, time to take boards, but I always loved the human body. I came from a family that really respected human physiology, medicine. And so to me, when you love what you do, it's not work. That's a kind of, I know, cliche, but it's true. I just always love, I'm a lifelong learner, so I love learning stuff like you do. I love learning about new things. And to me, that's not painful and it doesn't take away from other things. So, hopefully I didn't really lose too much in other areas because I was always interested in this stuff. So it filled my soul,
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I agree. Do work that feels like play, 100%.
Yeah.
In terms of like family and balancing, how have you
Yeah.
managed that? Working hard and also balancing family time with it.
I think financially, I probably could have made a lot more money doing different choices in my career in medicine. I could have built a big practice. I chose not to. I could have done a lot of worked for people. Then I wouldn't have had control over my time. I think I set myself up to be in control with a very small, manageable practice so that I could always write and do creative aspects within medicine. And that I think has changed everything. Um, and I think it's because I don't care so much about big ticket items, fancy stuff, that I feel I've been able to do what I want to do for my emotional and heart reasons. So I think it just depends on what people want in their lives. I just didn't need, in fact, I enjoy the fake bags better than the real bags because I feel like the system. So call me crazy. That's how I grew up. But like when I'm walking around with a great fake bag, I'm laughing at all the people who spent $1 zillion on the real one.
Yeah.
Crazy? I don't
No,
know.
no,
But
it's true. I mean, we, I think there's a big trend that's happened in the soccer or football world is these like fake like t-shirts, because if you buy the soccer top or football top from the actual team, it's like £100. Then you can get one for like £20, and
yeah,
it's
and
like the exact same.
I feel bad because I know certain companies will lose out on the fakes, but these are companies that, at least for the bags, they're not 100% identical. So they're sort of like their own twist on things. But again, you have to decide what you want in life. And material goods have never been such a major part of my life. And so I think that saved me in many ways in terms of my choices for me.